Hey guys, welcome to Code and Box Automation Lab. This is Sharful. In this lecture, we're going to see how to use test management tool name is Zephyr in Jira. So there is a lot of tools in the market, as you know, like a Zephyr, TestRail, QA Test, and so on. Right? So Zephyr is one of the test management tool that comes. You can see over here. That comes underneath the Jira family, and its integration is very good compared to other test management tool because Zephyr is the part of the Jira. So the first of all is we have to install the Zephyr in your Jira. So here is our Jira, and this was our one of the project, like Walmart project. And if you noticed our previous some of the lectures, you will see that like how to create a project, how to create your backlog and your sprint and everything's like all of the steps and phases, different activities in agile methodologies. However, now it's time to learn about the test management tool, like creating test cases, execute, and so on. Okay, so let's see that how we can do it. So Zephyr is already over here for me, but for you, for your case, probably it's not going to be there. So first of all, you have to integrate the Zephyr in your Jira. So if you can find over here, if you go your apps, and after that over here you will go manage your apps. In your case, Zephyr will not be there. So if you just go your manage your apps, and here click on find new apps, and after that you will type over here Zephyr. Oh, sorry. Okay, so type over here and hit enter, and here is a three different flavor Zephyr comes with. Nowadays you can find one is Zephyr Scale, also test management tool, and there is a Zephyr Squad. It's mostly like it's for the performance testing, and also there is a Zephyr Enterprise. So we can use for our practice, we can use the Zephyr Scale. Okay, so all you have to just click on add. So it is already added for me, that's why it doesn't show as add. So if you just click up there, you have to add it, and if you click on add-on, so just wait a few seconds and it will be, you will see there will be pop-up message over here. It will show it's been added or integrated with your account. So after it's integrated, if you go back to your project or your settings, let's go to my Jira project. You will see on the top left hand corner, over here on the left side, you will see the Zephyr Scale should available up there. So if you click on Zephyr Scale now, you will see there is a few tabs over here. One is test cases, so where you can write all of your test cases. Here is a test cycle. You can create your different test cycle like functional, smoke, regression, and so on. There is a test plan, so you can add or create your test plan, or you can upload your test plan up here, and there is a finally report. So over here, since it is a very short video, so we're going to create a test cycle and then a couple of test cases, and then after that we'll execute, and we'll see how to see the report. Okay, there will be no test plan. Okay, so here we'll create first test cycle. You see, you need a test cycle for this. Is your hierarchy, right? So your test cycle should be there. So your test cycle, to create your test cycle, click on up there, click up here. Okay, create a new test cycle. So you can give a name up here, say example, functional, okay, or a smoke, no, whatever you say, smoke. Okay, give a smoke test cycle. Description, it's up to you. You can put it empty, or you can give some description, and then for now, nothing up here. The version, if you want, you can put some version if you have a version available right now, or like let's save it. Okay, even now smoke, and then test cases. There is no test cases over here. If you want, you can create test cases here. Okay, so to create some dummy test cases, I have some already spreadsheet. There is a spreadsheet here. You can see there is a story over here, story and features or title. You can see okay, and then there is a for this story, here is the step or test cases, and there is expected result, actual result, and for the second story, this is the steps and then expected and actual result. So it isn't like Walmart dummy projects where it's a first use story. This story is about like a guest user. They can add a listed items, and then they can purchase as a guest user. And second one, I think they can browse. Second one, in fact, this is about the registration. So as a guest user or new user, they can register and be a registered user. Okay, so that's about this two story, and here is the steps. I'm not going to go detailed steps. It is just a dummy, so whatever the steps you have to break down, make sure that all of the steps are very clear and break down, and that everybody can follow it, and then there will be expected result as per your story, and their actual result when you execute what you see. Okay, so that's the actual and expected result. So we're going to use this dummy spreadsheet, so all the dummy two test cases. So let's go back to our Jira over here, Zephyr. So let's go to the test cycle again. I will create test cases over here. Okay, so this is our test cases, and over here you can create test cases directly here, or you can create some subfolder. Okay, so like for test cases example, like if you have functional test cases, so you could any functional related to your functional test cases, like your login test, your searching, payment, right? So it's up to you. Like you can create some folder as per by your different module or function, and then related test cases goes to that that related folder. So let's say we can create a folder first. I can give a folder name. So I would say the first one is like registration. I will put it underneath the login. Okay, so create a login, and then another one is like the guest user, they can do a payment. So I will use over here as a I would say payment. Okay, just payment. So for the login, I will create a test cases. Let's create test cases. So test cases for the login one. Login, it means for the registration. This is the one. So this is our features, and this is our so let's put this features or title. So verified, I would say over here. So this is the title for you can say. So I would say verify a new user can register on the site successfully. Okay, you can say. And then objective, objective, I would say you can put your probably, if you want, you can put this whole story as your objective. Okay, over here, and then there is a precondition. So precondition is like to execute this test cases, if you have any precondition, if you go through any precondition, example like your testing data or your environment, any environment, specific environment you need to set up, or make sure the environment is ready, right? So any device you need, right? So all those are different precondition. Any specific browser that you want to execute this test case, those are the precondition. So whatever the precondition, you will make a list over here, your precondition. Okay, and the details over here is status. Right now you can keep it as a draft, it's fine. And then because it's in real life, the senior QA sometimes if there is a process like that, they can go through your test cases and they can approve it. Okay, so we'll keep it as a draft for now. Folder, so it will go to you can put what folder that test case belongs to. Like it is a registration related, so I will put it in a login function. Okay, and that the priority, I would say it is a high. Okay, the registration is important, right? So let's put it in a high, and rest of them it's totally fine. And then save it, and then here is a more tab related with this test cases. You can see there's a test script, test execution, traceability, okay, attachment, comments, and history. So test script, what is test script? Test script is nothing, is the test step for this specific test case, because we didn't add in our details, we didn't add any test step. There is no test steps. Example, here for this, here is the test steps, like number 1, open the application URL, click on register link, enter email address, and under the registration, and click on registration, update your password, all those things. So those are the steps that you are going to follow, or action, to execute, to validate this test cases, right? So what is this? So over here, here's a test script, right? Underneath over here, you can write your test script. Let's put this one, open your application. So I mean, I'm making it very short, but in real life, you have to write it very elaborate, your test steps, so that anybody can follow it. And every single steps, you should have a, if there is a test data, you will put it over here, and their expected result and their actual result, right? So but in a real life, you're not going to write expected result for each and every single steps, because some of the steps is very common, very generic, you don't have to put it, but some of the important, you have to use your best judge, so that you have to do your best judge, so that you ensure that the important steps have the expected result. Okay, so here I'm not putting any expected result for now, because open your application URL, it means you go to the your application site. So your expected result probably would be like you are able to land it successfully on the home page, right? This is not something very, it is a very generic, so that's why I'm not putting over here. So you can add steps, click on over here, add steps, and after that go to there, and then put a second your steps. Okay, and then eventually same way you are going to put the third one, and then add again over here, and then add more, right, fourth one, and complete it. Okay, so in the fourth one I will place an expected result. Okay, so what's the expected result? The expected result would be like new user able to register successfully. That's the ultimate final expectation by testing this story. Okay, so let's put this one at the end, at the last steps. After you're doing the last steps, you are supposed to able to confirm that new user is able to register successfully. Okay, so that's your test script or steps. Save it, and after that execution, we haven't executed yet, that's fine. Traceability metrics, this is a separate topics, but it's traceability metrics is nothing, it's help you to map or verify the test coverage versus story. Like make sure that you have a test stories for each and every stories, you have at least one test cases, so it give you the test coverage scenario, like it show the map between the stories and test cases, right? So that's the traceability metrics help you. It's help you to trace your stories to ensure that your stories is coverage have the test coverage. Okay, that's the traceability metrics. And attachment, if you have any related document for related your test data, anything else, you can add that attachment file over here. And comments history, whoever does any comments, it shows over there, and story like your execution, all those story will show underneath there. So okay, so let's go back to your details now. Your test cases here is a one test case underneath the login function, login folder. Now payment, let's do the very quick the payment one. So this is the payment one, so this is the title of the test cases, you can say. So I will create another one, and then I will say verify. Okay, verify first time visitor can make payment as a guest user without having to register, without having register account, without having, you can say register account. Okay, so it means it's a guest user. Okay, and then objective as objective, you can put your story, user story, you can place up there. It's not mandatory, but it's you can place it. And after that, it is the status is draft, and then folder, you can select the folder so I will place this one as a payment folder, or you can say it's a guest user folder, whatever the related function. I'm not making 100% right, so I just want to make sure this is the about how to use it, where this different part of the different features of this Zephyr. And then priority definitely is a high, and then you can save it. And after that, let's add the script. So script over here. So here is first is open your application, follow this link. This is www.walmart.com. okay, and then add more steps over here. Click on all categories, add more steps, click on sofa and select and click on add to the cart. So let's add steps more. Click on go to cart page, and after that this one, add more steps. Let's put all of the rest of the three. I'm putting just all of them together, so just to save our time. Okay, but in real life you are going to put each and every steps should be one single action. Okay, so this is the one, and then this is the one also. So here is just remember this, here is 3 steps, but I'm just to save the time, I'm putting all these 3 in one steps. Okay, and then your expected result. So your expected result would be like, as a guest user you are able to list of items and buy this product as a guest user. Okay, so that's your final expected result. And same as your test data, if you have a related test data, you can place it over here. Okay, save it there. Pretty good. It didn't execute, no test execution. Okay, now you have to, now it's time. So we have a test cases, we have a test cycle. Now this test cases, two test cases, one is over here. All right, so if you click on all tests, these 2 test cases, I have to now include underneath a test cycle. Like I create a test cycle over here, right? Smoke test. So assume that these 2 test cases should be part of a smoke test. So how we can integrate that 2 test cases underneath this smoke folder? To do this, okay, so let's how can we do this? Just select this your test cycle over here, right? This one, the smoke, and then click on edit. And after that, here go to test cases. Right now there is no test cases shows over here because this smoke folder is empty, this cycle is empty. But you can add, you click on add test cases. If you click on add test cases, so it will pop up this window. It will brought all the test cases that I created underneath the test case tab, right? And for different folder inside a different folder as per your function, right? So you can add all of them, right? So you can add this one, this 2, then add. So after we select these 2, click on add to. Okay, now this should click on saved. Looks good. So let's go to the details now, or test cycle now. If you go to the test cycle now here, and then click on smoke. Okay, click on smoke. Here we go. After you click on smoke your cycle, you will see these 2 test cases, all the test cases. Here is just 2 test cases we created and we added. So whatever the number of test cases, it will show all the list over here, and each and every one you can see over here. Now to execute, you can execute from here. So from your same things like come through your test cycle, whatever the cycle you are going to execute, select that cycle folder. Example here is smoke, and after that come to over here, and now here is your script. like all of your steps. So when you're going to execute, start your execution. Here is this is your timer, so it will tell you how long it took to execute these test cases. Okay, so here so you will follow the steps. Step number 1, open application URL. So you will open application URL, and then you will see that it's working as expected. If it's that, you can, for each and every steps, you will execute and you will mark as a pass or fail. So you can say pass, or this is a fail. So, or this is a block. So if there is a block, sometimes all of the test cases you are not able to execute. Sometimes some of the test cases, what will be blocked. Maybe the environment is not set up. Maybe you don't have enough test data. So whatever the reason you are not able to execute, that time your status would be blocked. Okay. So here is the example. This is a pass. So this is pass. So then you can pass, right? And after that, here is this second step. Click on register link. So follow the steps. Assume that this is also pass. And then third one, also assume that this is also pass. And fourth one also pass. So when each and every steps you follow, or every action you follow, you execute, and as per your expected result and your actual result, here is the actual result. You can see, you can place actual result over here. Every steps you can have an actual result. So you can place expected result and actual result. So if it's both match, then you will say pass. If it's not, it will fail. So assume that this 4 steps, all the steps for this test case is pass. All of them if it's pass. If you go up, you will see this is a totally timer, like how long it took. In real life, it will take a little bit longer time, but since we didn't actually open browser, we didn't do this. That's why it took very less time. But you will see, after all of your steps is done and you execute it based on your report, like pass or fail, it will tell you finally this test case is pass or fail. If all of them are pass, all the steps are pass, your test case will automatically consider or automatically will show as a pass test case. If any one of them is fail, it will consider as a fail test case. Example, let's execute our next one, this one. So select this one, click this one, and click on timer. Okay, let's see. So assume that our first one is pass. First steps is pass. Second steps is pass. Third steps is a pass. Okay, then fourth steps is a pass too, and sixth steps, fifth steps pass. And assume that sixth, the last one, it didn't pass. Okay, so that time you will click on over here. It's a fail. So this is a fail. So if you notice now, let's see the status, final status. You will see it is a fail. As I said, any steps, no matter how many steps you are executing, if one single steps is fail, your total test case, your whole test case will consider as a fail test case. Okay, so so you have to then file a bug. So if if this test case is failed, then you have to create a bug. So to create a bug, click on there, and then as you select your project, then your issue type would be bug, and after that puts your title, and then puts your description, as well as your replicate steps, like how the bug, how the developer they can replicate this bug, how they can reproduce the bug. So make steps. Again, it's a similar steps you follow the test case, exactly the same steps. You can copy a clone and paste it over here, and also include the expected result. By fixing this bug, what do you expect? So make sure you add the expected result. I hope that you all know, if you are familiar with the testing process, if you have knowledge about the test cases or file a bug, so you're supposed to know it, right? And then you will assign to the developer by the advice from the product owner, sprint, also take the advice from the product owner to when it's going to fix and other stuff. So anyways, this is about the filing a bug. So let's go now. If I go back to my test cycle and then select this one, all the test cases, you can see here it shows this folder, this is smoke folder. It shows one test cases, you can see one is pass, one is fail, right? So this folder is done. Okay, so now if I want to see a report, so click on test report. So report over here to see or to generate a test report, like test execution report. So after over here there is a two part on the left, so like a test execution and traceability. So select the test execution. So based on that, we'll create a result or a report, summary report, that the two test cases we executed. So click on this one, and after over here you can see this is a project. Your test cycle your test cycle should be your smoke. What was our test cycle? Because all the test cases was underneath the smoke test cycle or a smoke folder. So to do this, so the smoke folder was created, WAL. It was, you can see this is the key for the smoke folder, WAL-R3. So select your folder. So this is your test cycle folder. You can put your actual date or in date. It means actual date, like to make it more filter. Like if you want to create or generate a report, between a specific date, so then you can select your start date and end date. I will keep it as empty since it was just the same day I executed. And you can select over here all test execution or last test execution. It is totally up to you, based on what's your requirement to generate this report. And here is a count. It will show you on the report. It will display how many. A report will display by the number how many test cases was executed, how many test cases will fail, pass, all those things. Or percentage, it will show you different chart like bar chart, pie chart, something like that. And so I will select that percentage. So click on generate. Here we go. You can see this is all, since we selected the percentage, that's why it shows by the percentage. So here is the overall progress, 100%. It means 100% test case was executed. It doesn't matter how many pass fail. This is just how much. So we had two test cases. Both test cases was executed. That's why it's called. This is 100%. Here is the test execution result. You can see here is a 50% is fail. It means one test cases was fail, and another 50%. It means another test case was pass. So we saw that, right? In our example, we had two test cases. One was pass, one was fail, which is 50%, 50%. That's the result. And test execution effort, how long it took to execute both test cases, 1 minute. So that's why when you execute, if you click on start monitor the tracking your time, so it will show you total effort over here. And it is important to have the overall idea, how long usually it takes to execute a single test case or total test cases, for say example regression or a smoke test. To execute all the smoke tests, how long usually it takes, so that in future when you're going to execute a smoke test, you have the idea, and based on that you can have a better estimation. Okay, so that's the the test summary report. You can share this report with your upper management, or your team. So pretty much, that's all about this, the Zephyr Scale test management tool, which is very simple, but it's very helpful that you can easily create test cases, test cycles, and execute them. And then you can see the report. You can have a back and forth traceability metrics. You can have the mapping between your story and your test cases, or as well you can have a link between your test cases and your story, since it is the part of the Zephyr family. Okay, so that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned. Have a good one. Bye bye.